When Britain set out to electrify its railways after the Second World War, one route stood apart from all the others. Driven deep beneath the Pennines, battling steep gradients and hauling immense coal trains through long, dark tunnels, the Woodhead Line demanded something truly exceptional. The answer was the British Rail Class 76, originally known as the EM1. These powerful 1,500-volt DC electric locomotives were designed specifically for the Woodhead route between Manchester and Sheffield, and for decades they became the undisputed masters of one of Britain's toughest railway crossings. The story begins in 1941, at the height of the Second World War, when a single prototype locomotive was completed at Doncaster Works to a design by Sir Nigel Gresley. This engine, later numbered 6,000, became affectionately known as Tommy. Because the war delayed electrification of the Woodhead Line, Tommy had nowhere to work in Britain. Instead, in a remarkable twist, the locomotive was loaned to Dutch Railways in 1947 to help rebuild their war-damaged network. It was there that Dutch crews gave it the nickname Tommy, after British soldiers, and the name stuck for life. During its time in the Netherlands, the locomotive proved powerful and reliable on heavy freight, but it also revealed weaknesses. At higher speeds, it rode poorly, thanks to an unusual bogie design where buffers and couplings were mounted directly on the bogies. Crews also complained that the cabs were small with limited visibility. Even so, the design was fundamentally sound. And once Woodhead electrification was finally completed in 1952, full production could begin. Between 1950 and 1953, 57 production locomotives were built at Gorton Works in Manchester. They were officially classified as EM1 and later became Class 76 under the top system. Visually, they were unmistakable machines. Compact, muscular, and fitted with twin diamond-shaped pantographs. In places along the Woodhead Line, the overhead wires were unusually high, meaning both pantographs were often raised to maximise current collection in all weather conditions. Although primarily designed for freight, Class 76s regularly worked passenger services as well, especially after similar Class 77 locomotives were sold abroad in the late 1960s. 14 engines were fitted with steam heating boilers, and 13 of these carried classical Greek names such as Prometheus, Perseus, Hector, and Ulysses, an elegant contrast to their brutal working lives. Before Woodhead was fully electrified, several Class 76s even worked trial services in Essex on the Liverpool Street to Shenfield line. These tests included experiments with regenerative braking, where electricity generated on downhill runs was fed back into the overhead wires, a feature that became vital on the long descents either side of the Woodhead Tunnel. As the years passed, the Class 76s evolved. Multiple working capability allowed pairs of locomotives to haul enormous merry-go-round coal trains from South Yorkshire to Fiddler's Ferry power station. These were some of the heaviest trains ever hauled across the Pennines, and the Class 76 handled them with remarkable reliability. By the late 1970s, the locomotives were among the oldest on British rail, yet also among the most dependable. Built to a robust design and carefully maintained at depots like Wath and Reddish, many were still fully serviceable. Their fate, however, was tied to the fate of the Woodhead Line itself. As passenger services ended and freight traffic declined, withdrawals began in 1970. Then, in July 1981, the closure of the Woodhead route between Hadfield and Penistone sealed their destiny. The final Class 76 service ran in the early hours of the 18th of July 1981. With that single working, an entire class of locomotives passed into history. Despite interest from Dutch Railways, who remembered the success of Tommy, the remaining locomotives were scrapped, many at booths of Rotherham. Only one escaped the cutter's torch. Number 76020 was preserved and is now part of the National Railway Museum's collection in York. Chosen for its historic importance, It had appeared at the Festival of Britain in 1951 and later hauled the opening day train through the Woodhead Tunnel itself. Today, it stands as the sole survivor of a remarkable class. Locomotives that were powerful, reliable, and ahead of their time. They were not withdrawn because they failed, but because the railway they were built for was lost. If you've enjoyed this story of the British Rail Class 76, please like the video, share it with a fellow railway enthusiast, and subscribe to the channel for more stories from Britain's forgotten railways and legendary locomotives.